Fair to squeeze that group. Hello.
One, two, three, 4, 21.
Nice suit, one okay suit, nice. Shabbat. Shabbat. It's on? Yep. My voice is, so Shabbat. So, we have, can we turn me up a little bit because I have no voice right now. Yeah, so, Shabbat Shalom. I have some interesting news and some choices that we're going to make. I hope you guys are okay with the choices. You don't even know what they are either. Love that. Can you teach my children to do that? So, Benny's not here because Benny has COVID. He was diagnosed a week and a half ago. He was hoping, he feels fine, but he was hoping to be able to take a dig last night that he had. He can't. And this morning he also still tested positive. But that's not the really bummer about that. Benny will be sending a video to everybody. Benny will be taking a 2.5-month break from our community because Benny got an opportunity with his brother Jack. They've written music they're going to be performing in Saudi Arabia at a music festival. Isn't that cool?
I think they're going to the soccer game.
They're leaving the 17th and then they're back in January.
Wow.
He's doing it in Riyadh, and so he's actually so excited. It was so sweet. I think he was concerned I was going to be, you can't do that. But it's like, of course, it's so cool, isn't it? It's just so great. I'm so happy. So we have Matt. You're going to be joined in future services by both Danny and Jason, whom you guys know. You may recognize them. They're the rock and roll guys. And as you may hear in my voice, I am recovering from the great rabbi disease that I had yesterday from Wednesday night till today of laryngitis. So,
Oracalius dysfunctious.
Yeah, what he said. So I was thinking because of the Torah portion that we would do a whole different type of service tonight. Is that okay? Yeah. Arms crossed like, I don't know, Rabbi. Second holidays. So here's the reality, okay? The first, I think this is, and the reason is because of the Torah portions. How many of you got the Torah insights? How many of you like the video concept? How many of you liked it better in writing? The writing's still there on the bottom of it, but, okay. Yeah, but we're trying to do both, so. This week's Torah portion is Lech Lecha. It is the first conversation. Normally we don't talk about the Torah when we begin with. When we begin the service, but I think we need to. Lech Lecha literally means lech. It's a command form that means go. It's a command form to men, not to women. Okay? If I was commanding a woman, I would say lechi. If I was commanding men and women, I would say lechu. The command is lech. Go. And lecha means to yourself, with yourself, by yourself, for yourself, within yourself. So literally the very first words, it's great to have people who really speak Hebrew. You can verify that I'm not pulling inside my thoughts.
I don't know that word.
So,
Not even a business.
I can say it in Arabic, but it's the video. So the first words said to the first Jew are lech lecha. Go into, go with, go by, go for yourself. Away from your land, the house of your birth, to a place that I will show you. That's the definition of meditation, isn't it? And the very first words that are said to the first Jew are, go meditate. The term for meditation, there's two terms. One is hisbodedus and one is hitlahavut. Hitlahavut is to be so inflamed, joyously dancing. Hitbodedus or hisbodedus is to be contemplative, to go inside. It comes from the root of both bod and boded, to be alone and to be a branch. The idea being that real meditation is when we realize that we are alone and yet we are connected. You're a branch on a tree that has a trunk and roots and is connected to every other tree in the world. And we're also connected to other leaves and our shade and our food. And really what hisbodedus leads to when we can really understand it is, I don't know if I said this during my holidays, there's a man I like to quote, I call him a rabbi even though he wasn't. His name was Sadahar O. Sadahar O was the greatest baseball player who ever lived, possibly. He certainly was the greatest home run hitter. He had eclipsed Hank Aaron. And when Sadahar O had a great story when he got up to the major leagues in Japan, he was unable to hit the curveball, and so he instead trained with a samurai sword master, and he learned how to hit the curveball. Became the greatest home run hitter in history. After that, he was a manager, and he was asked by someone, what did you learn in your baseball career? And he said, what is really the essence of hisbodedus of meditation? He said, at the heart of all things is love. The heart of all things is love. So every week we get up here and we do a service, and we say these prayers. And they are all actually expressions of love. But how many of us let the love go through us? How many of us allow ourselves to feel loved by God and to love God? So a lot of times what happens is the temple will say, okay, we're going to do a New Age service, we're going to do meditation. The rabbi knows as much about meditation as, but they do, okay, everyone will do a guided meditation, so everyone close your eyes and think of the bright light. Jewish meditation is a deep and detailed system and technology of techniques. It is a beautiful, there are so many techniques. And we teach a class on meditation and mysticism series. But it's about, at the end of the day, feeling God's love. Because otherwise, why do we do it? Feeling the love we have for God, the love that God has for us through everyone. And so we're going to go through our service tonight, maybe not all of it, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit stories, rather than having the Torah portion understood in the beginning, or in the middle. Excuse me. We have the concept of all of us now going left l'cha. What is interesting is that commandment is given to men, not to women. Isn't that interesting? There are a lot of reasons for that. Most cultures believe that a woman is naturally more spiritually aware than a man. Because they bring life into the world. Yeah, they bring life into the world. And every month they go through the cycle of potential life and death. And so in other cultures, Lakota people, Lakota Indians, they actually be able to sit with a woman, they sundance, they're pierced through a chest with a buffalo bone. No food, no water, they dance back and forth to a tree until the buffalo bone pulls out. We're Jews, we don't do that, we just study. I like our way better. But the idea is the commandment is given to men, not to women. Because women hopefully are already in a more meditative space, more contemplative, more aware space than a man can ever be. Because I can try all day, I will never know what it feels like to be pregnant. I only know what it feels like to gain weight. So as we chant, as we always start our service with Hine Mato, rather than simply singing these words and behold how good it is, think about what it really is saying. Hine Mato v'manayim shem achim gam yachad. How good it is that we can be together. How good it is, how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to dwell together in the same place. For much of our world history, and even now, There are many places Jews cannot be together, can they? Right now. Okay, right now. And so when we say this, it's an expression of joy and gratitude that God has given us this opportunity. Does that make sense? So, should we be sad about that? Is that something to be happy and grateful for? Then why do you all look so depressed? And so we begin with Hine Mato, understanding it as an expression of love.
You might want that lower today.
Yeah, we might be going in a key that no one else can sing. Tovu manai, sheverachim ganya. Manai, sheverachim ganya. Hine mato, sheverachim ganya. Stand up, ladies. Stand up. Take a look at each other. You get to pray with each other. We don't get to do that often enough, and we don't get to do that in the world. That is the blessing. Look at each other. That's when we see God in each other. No, my voice can't go. It won't make it till 9 o'clock if I keep going. So let's be seated for a minute. But think about how amazing that is. What an example of God's love that we can do this right now. Because we can't a lot. We to light the Shabbat candles. We have a guest from Israel. If you'd be kind enough to come join and light some Shabbat candles, and some other women would like to come join her. Followed by Shalom Aleichem. Again, this idea of Shalom Aleichem, that we welcome in these angels of peace, that they may bless us with peace. That they may bring to us, they may bless us, and they will, they shall come, they shall bless us, they will return to us, bringing peace. No one wants to try the Shabbat Queen. Wait. Why? Because we're reaching through the two yods of God's name. We're reaching through it. The reason we pass our hands through is that we are grabbing and reaching for the Neshama Yatira, the extra portion of soul of the Moed Shabbos. So no anything there, because that's going to block us from getting. That's actually why we reach through the gates, that we may be blessed with the extra portion of soul. Amen. As we welcome the angels of peace with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Wish each other good shots. Oh, I like that key. And I think it might be a little low for everyone. And if we could get some people, everyone, if you're a parent with your child, come on up here. Come on. Please, people without children, with them. Come on, Alex. Come on. Steve, your kid's not here. Your dogs aren't here. I think your son, okay? Actually, just Steve's tips to your shoulder. Stay. I got Alex. Oh, Raj is there now. Nice and loud. Nice, come on. Come on. There are lots of other kids. What are you talking about?
What's the matter with kids today?
There's kids sitting down over here. You should probably sit on Dad's lap. Well, he'll say, oh God. So we put our hands on our children. For the girls, you see nothing like the son of God, but for the boys, you see Elohim Kefraim and Menashe. May God bless you. The girls like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Maya. For the boys, blessed like Ephraim and Menashe. Yivrachacha, Adonai v'Yisraelcha. May God always bless you and always protect you. May God lift up His countenance, be kind, gracious, compassion with you in every place. May God bless you with good health, good mental health, physical health, emotional health, spiritual health, with wisdom, with courage, with parnasa, with prosperity, with fun, with joy, with wisdom, with sisterhood, with brotherhood, with kindness, with strength, with compassion, with passion, with integrity, with fun, with love, and always with peace. Can I get a high five? Excuse me. Wait. There you go. You left me hanging. You left me hanging.
Yeah, when was you
God, thank you. So before we So there's a story for the Haredi. We sing the Haredi every week, right? Man. I'll take you over my knee. So we sing the Haredi every week, right? But do we know what it means? The Haredi is about a bride. The Sabbath bride, it's our bride, it's our wedding. There's a story of Chatzala. Chatzala was a Schnorrer. He would lift things. It wasn't a Schnorrer. He would lift things. He would carry potatoes. He would do things. And Chatzala, every time he would be lifting, you would be hearing him, and he'd be calling out, "The Koyed HaShabbos," for the glory, for the honor of the Sabbath. Everywhere you go, he'd be doing work. Even though it was a weekday, he'd be going, "The Koyed HaShabbos." So much so that the people of the town actually called him Hatzkala, the Koyed HaShabbos. They weren't necessarily saying it in a joyous way. They were making fun of him. One day, it was one of the great Hasidic rabbis, I think it was the Ishbitzer, but I'm not sure, came to his village and said, and heard this man being called everywhere, Hatzkala, the Koyed HaShabbos. Hatzkala. For those who speak Hebrew, the Kovod HaShabbat. Okay? That's easy. But they were Ashkenazi, that's what they did. So the Rebbe heard this, everywhere this man's going. And so he called to him, he said, "Can I sit with you?" And Chatzkala sat down, he said, why do they call you the Koyed HaShabbos? He goes, because everything I do, I'm doing for the glory of Shabbos. And he says, what does that mean to you? He said, well, they make fun of me because I'm not so educated. I'm kind of an ignorant man, but I know Shabbos is filled with love. I know that the Shabbat, I know that this Sabbath is a gift from God for our souls, and it's a wedding day we get every week. We get to be remarried. And I know that our history had a lot of problems where our marriage hasn't gone so well. But every week I am grateful, and every day I'm looking forward to the wedding I'm going to have, or the wedding I just had on Shabbat before. So I say this L'Koyden Shabbos because I love her, and because I believe she loves me. The Rebbe looks at him and says, but there's something else, isn't there? He said, Rabbi, I've never told this to anyone. We know where we've been, and we know where we are, and we don't know where we're going, and it looks pretty ugly. It looks like there will be no time for Shabbos, that we will not be able to observe Shabbos, that the world is against us. But I say it as a promise, like an engagement, like a betrothal, that when I say the Koyden Shabbos, I am calling out for the wedding that I will believe in the future, will come happen in the future. When Mashiach comes, the Shekhinah is married to the Ruach HaKodesh, male and female spirits are married together. And so I say it, even though I'm ignorant and I don't know what's required, I say it in the hope that I'm going to be able to get married and all the Jewish people are going to get married in the future. It's not love. That's what B'charati is. She is a Sabbath bride. And it's not words. And if we can open our hearts, I guarantee you can see her and you can feel her inside. And that's why we do B'charati. To enlighten our own passions, to pray for Jerusalem, to believe a shalom, that the bride should come and bring us peace. So we continue with L'Chadodi.
Which one do we want to do?
I don't know, which one do you want to do?
I like the Yadel one.
Which one Yadel that? We do whichever all touch. Can you lower that by about 4 octaves? I can't go that high. You guys are going to have to help because I have no voice. Keep going, Dan, I'll let you. Yeah, we can try that. You can sing it out to it too high. Shabbos Yahuwah HaMelech Adonai Echad U'Shemo Echad L'Shem Tiferet La 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 L'Ikrak L'Ikrak L'Pnei Shabbat L'Kabbalah L'Chad L'Chad Odi L'Ikrak L'Ikrak L'Pnei Shabbat Melech all right, right now, they're going to sing over with it. La 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 la. Itoreri, Itoreri. Uri, Uri, Shitareri. La 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 la. Some rooms have low voices. You don't have to sing where I am. You can go an octave or 2 octaves higher. Steve's house. What's it like to feel a bride? What's it like to be in a wedding day? How many remember? Right? How many remember? How many remember standing under the chuppah, your bride starts walking down? Oh, she's so beautiful. How many remember seeing your groom and how loving, how much you loved him in that moment. God loves us so much. So we welcome the Shekhinah, the presence of God, to bring us peace, to come in peace, and bless us. Ohiv shalom, atem b'hala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzoma, asayula, oi kala, oi kala. Lacha lacha dodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nikala. Lacha lacha dodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nikala. La 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 lacha dodi, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nikala. Lacha lacha dodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat. B'nei b'nei Shabbat nekabala. B'nei b'nei Shabbat Are you always that low, or is it just because they love you? I can't. That's about the only note I can hit right now. We continue as we come to worship with the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Adonai, Please be seated. We do the Shema, we do the Ve'ahavta, we do this every week, we do this every day. Right? First we do Ahavat Olam, the love of God, for Ahavat Rabbah, the love, great love of God. We do it before we do the Shema, and we talk about how we need to love God. How many of you really understand what it means to love God with everything? How many of us ever really do that? Only in a few moments, huh? So let me tell you a story. Why are you laughing at me? See, let me explain. Maybe. So let me explain. So Sherry, if I sing, then we're singing down here, and that's painful for you. On the other hand, if I tell a story down here, you don't care. So it's actually out of consideration for you and to make your husband laugh, because he thinks this is hysterical, that he has a rabbi that looks like a biter and has such a voice.
Shabbat be led by Gary White.
Well, Barry White song we're going to do that.
We're not going to.
Okay, we're not. So, that's love, baby. So,
You said we had a choice.
I said, no, that wasn't the choice. Okay, so there's a great story. How many have heard of Rabbi Akiva? I mean, you know anything about him? We do the Ve'ahavta, but do we understand what it is? Akiva.
You're my last young
Ooh, baby. So, Rabbi Akiva, just going, I don't know what's wrong with him tonight. Rabbi Akiva was this great sage. How many of you know Rabbi Akiva? He was this great sage. You want to talk about a love story? Rabbi Akiva did not come from any money, did not come from any knowledge per se. And there was a young woman who wanted to marry him. She loved him, he loved her. She went to her father, who was a very wealthy man. And her father said, you can't marry this guy, he's a nothing. She said, I'm marrying him. She goes, you can't. She said, I am. He goes, if you do, I'll disown you. She goes, fine, I'm marrying him. So off he goes, and they get married, and they have nothing. They live in a poor little shack. Nothing. They scrape it together. But Akiva always wants to study. And so she so loves him. How many of you know the story? So loves him, so loves him. That she says, go study. Go study. Go study. And so he goes and he studies. He stands outside the wall. He's 41 years old, doesn't even know how to write the Aleph Beis. And he stands outside the wall and outside the window, and he learns. And he learns and becomes a rabbi. He's knowledgeable. And I forget if it's 12 or 24 years later, but he goes back to the house. He's going to go back and visit her because he knows where she comes from. She goes back, and as he's walking to the house, he hears inside his wife and her father yelling and screaming. Her father is saying to him, or saying to her, he's saying, he's never coming back. Akiva's a bum. He's never coming back. She goes, you know, if he came here right now, I'd turn around and go study just as much again. And so Akiva sees that, and what does he do? He turns back around to go study. He becomes the great Rabbi Akiva, the sage of his generation, the main disciple of Rabbi Eliezer, the one who can go and return to Pardes without losing his consciousness or his will, or his eyes, or his life. And now he's the great rabbi who's been traveling, and now he's back in Jerusalem. And a woman comes, and she's going to go see him. And the guards say, you can't see the great Rabbi Akiva. You're just a little schlepper woman. And she goes, if he's so great, he won't care how I'm dressed. And when Akiva sees, he says, let that woman in, because if it were not for her, I wouldn't be here. That's my wife. And they had this amazing love affair. Shortly thereafter, her father actually shows up at the court, not recognizing this Akiva is his son-in-law Akiva. And he tells the story. He goes, I've been so disenfranchised from my daughter, and so separated because of this, and it wasn't worth it. Akiva says, if she was here, what would you tell her? He said, I would tell her she should be with the man she loves, and I would support that. Goes, okay, someone please call my wife out. Akiva was a great hero. He was the spiritual leader of what called rebellion. He was a great, great rabbi. There are two teachings of love that, besides the obvious one of his wife, that I think we need to think of, because this is the Ve'ahavta. We always go, Ve'ahavta, right? We run right through it. So we let the words run through us. Akiva did, and here's two ways that he did. When the Romans forbade him from teaching, forbade us from teaching Torah, he continued to do so anyhow. And when confronted by another rabbi, what are you doing? He made the following analogy. He said there was a fox and a fish. And the fox and the fishermen were trying to catch all the fish. And the fox came and said, why don't you come out and we can be brothers the way our ancestors were, come out of the stream. And the fish said, you're supposed to be so smart, fox, you're not smart at all. For if I'm in danger when I'm out of my stream, how much more danger, or I'm in danger when I'm in my stream, how much more danger would I be without outside of my stream? I'm a Jew, my way is Torah. That is my stream. And so he continued teaching it upon pain of death. Ultimately, he was killed. He was flayed. He was tied to a stake and burned. And as he was dying, his disciples were so upset, and he said, no, don't be. All my life, I have lived the Ve'ahavta. I have loved God with all of my heart, with all of my soul, and now I get to love God with all of my being and my life. This is the Ve'ahavta. To really, really love. And as part of that, to teach our children to. So when we say the Ve'ahavta, this is what we are actually chanting. And so we turn to page 54 and 55. The Shema is our screen. It is our love. We need to teach that to our children. You know what? Kids can learn how to daven. We don't need kids to learn how to daven. We need to make sure kids learn how to have a relationship with God. Through a Jewish pathway, their own personal relationship with God. That's what we need to teach. We need to teach the love of God, the love of Yiddishkeit. Not more important than whether they can tell the difference, whether something should be pronounced, the pronouncing exact right. It's more important that they should just, they really love God. They can learn the information. We need to teach them love. So we continue with the Shema and the Be'ahavta, page 53 and 54. Shema Yisrael Adonai Elohim Adonai Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha v'chol nafshecha v'chol yamlecha v'hayu ha'dvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzvotecha hayom alevavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibartam v'shivtecha b'beitecha uv'letecha b'derech ושוכבך וקומך, ושרתם להיות עבדיך, והיו לטוטפות בעיניך, ותחתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את קבוצותיי, איתם אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ both because if Matt and I were to sing it, no one would be able to sing that low. And then he said, you really want to do this that low?
That's where you was doing it.
Yeah, but I gotta go down.
From there,
Yeah.
this is where you see with Benny every.
I know, I gotta put my voice up. Oh, hey,
Dancing that note.
hey,
Up and up.
hey, hey. I got problems there, man. Do we want to do Lo Yisagoi? Okay. You guys are gonna have to help a lot. Hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, Ufaros, Aleinu, Sukkah, Ufaros, Aleinu, Sukkah, rolling to dark, rolling to light. Night becomes day and the day turns to night. Rolling to dark, rolling to light. Night becomes day and the day turns to night. Lord is our God, Lord is my Lord, Abba. Lord is our God, Lord is my Lord, Abba. Rolling to dark, rolling to night. Night becomes day, day becomes night. Rolling to dark, rolling to light. Night becomes day, and day becomes night. Ufaros Aleinu, Sukkah, Sukkah. Shalom. We continue on page 66 with Hatzi Kaddish. Yigada Shemei Rabbi. Shamadi Rabbi Yotei Yomni Pogutei. V'chayim Kol Yom V'chayim Kol Beis Yisrael. V'agala U'bizman Kari. Omei Heshmei Rabbi Mevorah. Yolam Almaya Yibarak Yishtamar Yimar Ramon Yinaseh Yitadan Yitale Yitalam Shmei Kirsham Reoku Lela Mikol B'Hatam Shiratam. That's right. Tushmechatam Yamita. Keep our feet together so our angels. We understand that we have one purpose. Our purpose is to love God and be loved by God. Yamita is to allow ourselves to feel that in every part of our soul. We do not worry about our balance, however. It's more important. We go every day, the march so back of me, tira sui, Ishene afa mi baby Yeshua, the Manatal Hayomiti, Baruch Atah Adonai, Please continue through traditional prayers in page 74, or your own private devotions. When you're done with your private prayers, please be seated. So there's a perfect peace and shalom. Shalom Yisrael Asim Shalom Yisrael Asim Ki atahu melech adon le'ol hashalom Ki atahu melech adon le'ol hashalom Shalom Yisrael Tasim Le'olam Shalom Yisrael Tasim Le'olam V'tov le'enecha le'mareh et omecha Yisrael בכל עת ובכל שעה ישתבח שלום ישראל עמך תשים לעולם שלום ישראל עמך תשים לעולם Tasim Le'olam Tasim Le'olam. So I don't need to do a Gemara Torah because we've been doing it all night. Let's study it all night. But there's something to study about this Torah portion as well that I think is important. The Torah portion begins with this commandment to have meditation. Right? Lech Lecha. Directed at Avram or Sarai? Avram. And we know how the Torah portion ends? I'll give you a hint. It involves a snipping. It involves the commandment, the covenant, that your descendants will be as plentiful, as bountiful as the dust of the earth, the stars in the sky, this whole idea that we'll be here. And that we have a covenant. And our covenant is that we are to give the foreskin of our males at 8 days. They're healthy enough to do it anytime afterwards. In fact, Ishmael does it as a much older man, doesn't he? The whole story of Hagar and Ishmael in this Torah portion. So it begins and it ends with things that are directed towards men. And Matt made a great comment. We believe that women are more innately aware, if they choose to be. Specifically because, as you said, they give birth. By the way, Allison, I forgot to tell you, I got a call from Sam this afternoon, Sam and Izzy in England. They had the baby. This couple that she did a conversion. She studied with me for a year while she was in England. We Skype studied. And she came out here and did the conversion, the wedding. It was just really very beautiful. And she had gotten pregnant right before the wedding and then miscarried. And then she got married, she did a conversion, got married, and thank God, Noah was born. No, I'll mention it. So, yeah, I forgot to tell you this. Yeah. But when we get to do that, I will never have that blessing and curse or blessing and challenge, whatever you want to call it. How many of you have given birth? Okay, come on, man.
I've heard passing the stone is similar.
They make you feel better by saying that, but it ain't
Just
true.
a taste.
Sarah doesn't have a baby yet, does she? She doesn't have a baby until the very end of this, right? And what the hell, what's Sarah doing this tour? Does anyone know? We always talk about Sarah because she's such an amazing matriarch, so wonderful. But she's not commanded to meditate. Men are. For her, it's optional. It's like many of the commandments. Men are obligated, it's optional for women. Okay? The simple reality is there are 3 commandments that are mandated for women, 610 that are mandated for men. The reason is very easy. We need more commandments to keep us in line, otherwise we screw up. No, it's the truth. That's the truth. So, and a woman also is doing this amazing thing with childbirth, raising children, and all that. But she doesn't take that commandment of go and meditate, does she? So what happens? They get to Egypt, and Abraham says, "Oh, you know what? They're going to see how beautiful you are, and if we tell them you're my husband, they're going to kill me so that they can have you." You know this part of the Torah portion? Right? And so what do they decide to do? Lie. My friend Schwartzy, blessed memory, used to say that, you know, it says they lie, maybe you can steal them. She lies, right? No, we have that, he and I had that right. So, but the point is that you can't, and lying is not okay. I think it was Ray Charles who said, "Scratch a liar, find a thief." And lying is not okay. And what do? They lie to Pharaoh because they don't have faith. And Pharaoh takes her as his wife. That's what it says in the Torah, guys. How do you do that? You're giving me a look like, no, yeah. What does it mean if he took her as his wife? I'm thinking they knew each other. Okay? But it doesn't say that, but it does say he took her as a wife. And then Pharaoh has a dream because God gets involved in the whole debate and says, "What are you doing?" And then Pharaoh says, "Why don't you tell me this? That she's actually your wife and not your sister. I would never have taken her to me as a wife." God stepped in. Should they have lied? Should Sarah have lied? If she had realized how much God loved her and she had done meditation, would she have needed to lie? Hopefully not. What else does Sarai do? Well, she becomes Sarah, and she has this idea, since she's not producing any kids, what does she decide to do? She decides to say, "Let's have my handmaid Hagar be with you, and then you're going to have a kid." And they did have Ishmael. So it's her idea. Good idea or bad idea? Really bad idea. And it's her idea. They have a child. And then what does she want to do? She throws Hagar and Ishmael out. Again, if she was aware of God's love, would she have needed to do any of that? So while it's commanded to men, it's encouraged that all human beings meditate. We left Lacha, we go into ourselves to find who we are. Away from what we know, away from the land of our birth, away from everything we've been, to become what we are meant to be. And to, when we do that, to act with faith and to know and love. Why is this so important? I don't know that any of us are going to be in the situation anytime in the near future of, should we lie about whether we're married or not to the local king? Because I just don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, what is it really? Why is it so important? Every day, every day, we are, and more we are being faced with choices and challenges, aren't we? Choices to do evil, choices to not have faith. Every moment we're being faced with the same type of challenges that Avram and Sarai had, that our people have had for thousands of years. The challenges of how do we keep the Jewish people alive? How do we teach it to our children? How do we make it work? Can we turn on some air conditioning? Is that okay? Am I the only one cold? I mean, hot? Okay, all right, never mind. We're doing this whole Michigan thing today, so next week we're back on the air conditioning. Yes.
So, I'm sorry, I just have a quick question. So in the Torah portion, when God told Abraham Lechacha, he was already with Sarah when they traveled together?
Yeah.
He was with
We
Sarah?
believe that he goes with her, number one, but he's saying, we're not exactly sure when he says Lech Lecha, there's different interpretations, but immediately he goes with Sarai, but the Lech Lecha is to him. It's not a plural. It's not, if it was to him and Sarai, it would have been the who. Okay? Does that make sense? It wouldn't have been Lech. The Lech is the command form of Olech, to go. So why is it so important? We are being asked every moment and every day to make decisions. We're being asked to make decisions next Tuesday on the fate of this nation. I don't really care which way you decide. We're being asked to make decisions on the fate of the nation. That's what elections are, guys. Don't think they're anything less. Every election is a determination on where we think the fate of the nation should be. And I don't really care if you believe it should be on this side of the aisle or that side of the aisle. I really don't care. Let us remember there was no aisle at all until Moses parted it. Okay? I don't care. But how do we make our decisions? And how do we react to what the results are? That is important, of primary importance. We need to make our decisions based on hisbodedus of being both inside ourselves and realizing how connected we are to the world. I've been very disturbed this election season because more than any other passing has been bad in the past. All that I basically see are negative ads from both sides, including, by the way, from people that I know and like and respect. This person did this person will do this person opposes this person is in favor of this. But it's not about themselves, it's about negative ads. This is extremely disturbing to me. I do not remember it ever being this bad. And we're being asked to make decisions, and we need to make sure that we make our decisions not based upon the negative ads of anything, but based upon what we see inside as to be important and true. And here's even more important than that. Tuesday is going to come, God willing, and then Wednesday, and then Thursday. And hopefully by sometime next week, if not next month, we will know the results of elections. And we will be sitting with people that we care about or have cared about us, and they are happy or sad, and if their opposite feeling is that we have, they have the opposite feeling. We must remember, we're Jews, we can disagree without being disagreeable. Sarah and Avram, they lose faith at certain points. Sarah especially, because she hasn't done her meditation, so she loses faith and she lets herself be posed as a sister of Avram. She sends out Hagar and Ishmael. What is she sending out Hagar? It was her idea in the first place. Does she really want Hagar dead? If she was quiet, if she went inside herself, would she really want Hagar and the child dead? I don't think so. But because she didn't have her own meditation, her own way of being centered, she did that. People will sit at dinner next week or the week after. People will talk on the phone, and friendships of 30 and 40 and more years will be lost. God forbid it happens to any of us. We need to be able to disagree without being disagreeable. Because if we center ourselves through meditation, if we go into ourselves, with ourselves, by ourselves, for ourselves, Do you really want to lose the relationship of 40 years because you disagree on a political issue? How many of your relationships that are 20, 30, 40 years or more? Do you really want to lose them, God forbid?
Families also.
Man, sometimes we want them to have families. Exactly. Families also. Communities also. There was a person about a year and a half ago who published that Rabbi Barclay and his board should be arrested and die. Okay? And when confronted, and they don't know me. Because we stayed open. We screamed as well, but we stayed open. This was clergy, Jewish clergy. They really want that? Someone has been, people have preached hate. Some of you know, some of you do not. Some of you saw the video. A few weeks ago, after the Friday night Sukkot at our house, we had a big Sukkot celebration. After everyone left, someone threw an M80 in front of our house.
A what?
An M80. We got part of it unwise, but on the security camera. And I can track back to where that goes to some woman at her website who preaches hate on her website. Okay? Does anyone really want that kind of stuff to happen? Do we? We need to disagree without being disagreeable. We need to respect each other. The House of People of Nigeria said, the secret to life is respect. We need to do that. And so what is the lesson of this Torah portion? That we need to go into ourselves to make the right decisions. When we make the wrong decisions, happens what happened with Sarai. She ended up being Pharaoh. We need to make the right decisions and to always have faith that we have a covenant with God. A brit. First time brit is mentioned in the Torah, it's about a rainbow the second time. This is the brit milah, the covenant of the circumcision. So my prayer for all of us is that we choose to be passionate, but to go inside and find what our passions are, and to really, really remember we can disagree without being disagreeable. We can be passionate and respectful. And in so doing, we can make the world a better place. It doesn't matter if we disagree, it's how we disagree. The Talmud is based on the machloket, on the debate. My prayer for all of us is that we allow ourselves to find our truths and to express them with respect and to caring, and listen to other people's truths. I like to read a song, it's already late out. And I think if I do any song at this point, it's going to be so much lower than anyone can even hear. We were talking about Shlomo Nigo. So announcements, we have lots of announcements. Benny will be sending a video to everyone, but Benny's going to be gone for 2.5 months, but don't worry, you won't just have me singing and that. You'll have Danny or Jason, God willing, who are wonderful. How many of you guys remember them? They're fabulous. We have Judaism 101 is starting this Monday night at 7:30. Religious school is starting this Monday afternoon at 4:30. We are starting a new program as well. Mommy and Me. It's now at Children's Library. Some of you know Elle, who did the haircutting, who actually is a master's in education, is going to be doing a Mommy and Me program once or twice a week here with our new Children's Library. Why you got this look on your face?
Wow, that's a lot. Once or twice a week, that's amazing.
We're pretty amazing. Well, I don't have to do it, so it's not so amazing. She's pretty amazing, yes.
So Monday nights here is.
Monday night here at 7:30, Judaism 1. Judaism 101, which is not a 101 class.
And how long is the class?
You will streaming as well. It lasts however long it lasts, typically 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes.
No, I mean like weeks.
It's a 90-minute class roughly, and it lasts till we're done.
So that's-
So we're starting
Monday night.
Page 1, chapter 1.
Page 1, chapter 1. Actually, no, that's not true. I'm sorry. We're starting before page 1, chapter 1. Okay, we're starting. The Talmud starts on page 2. Talk about that. And you know what the first letter of the Torah is? It's a bet, Bereshit. Second letter. Why is not the first letter of the Torah the first letter of the alphabet? That's where we're gonna start.
Do we have to sign up for that, or?
Nope.
Okay.
Just show up, and we study, and we have fun, and people have done it multiple times. You guys have done it once or twice now. And it's worthwhile, isn't it? It's always new stuff. So, 7:30. We'll have Judas 101. We have the mommy and me that's going to start with L. We have religious school on Monday. December 18th. Big day. Sunday, December 18th. Sunday, December 18th, we will be having in the morning noon time, like at noon, we gotta make reservations. We will be having our annual fundraiser. John, get away from the cookies. John, get away from go sit down next to your brother. Yeah, I'm calling you out. Go sit down next to your brother. You've been busted. Go sit down. No, don't tell me you were going to the bathroom. You were by the kitchen. You were right by the refrigerator. Sit your butt down. Okay. There you go. All right, so December 18th, we will be having our annual fundraiser of our latke launch. $20 a box, 6 boxes for $100, and you can win some fabulous prizes, trips, and all sorts of fun things. We have some trips, vacations, we have a lot of different things actually, a lot of different jewelry, different things. And for those of you who don't know, who doesn't know what a latke launch is? You don't know what a latke launch is? Well, let me explain to you what a latke launch is.
Yes.
A latke launch. Latke. Just like, in fact they are. But we wrap them up and they're frozen. Then we have a couple of people who stand at home plate. One standing right where Matt is, one standing right where I am. Holding a slingshot. And we have a third person who comes back way back here and hurl, let's go, the latke launch. The latke launches into the air. Into hopefully center field or somewhere close. You never know, it depends on launching because and then if it lands in your box, which you have purchased at either $20 a box or 6 boxes for $100, you win a prize. And it might you might win Rita?
That's the best of my house, I won the most.
She won a $3,000 piece of art.
And I'm not returning it. The rabbi said, could we leave?
I said, do you want to put it in the temple? So
This is why we love America. We have nothing like this.
Let's come back for this.
I got to surprise you. I don't think other temples have anymore. We springtime, we do a Holocaust bro. Same exact concept with President.
Where do you
So
do it?
we do it at Triumphal Canyon Park. And so it's on the baseball field and we grid it off. And you might win a trip to La Costa, Commercial Ponce. You might win an amazing piece of art. One year, or yes.
I did not win.
So, okay, there was a tennis bracelet, and I actually bought one ticket. And the tennis bracelet, the woman's tennis bracelet, landed in our box. Wow. I would not keep it, because I didn't think it was right. I'll say to And so we auctioned it. And Sherry, despite her pushing Steve, Sherry was pushing Steve, and Steve is still paying for it, and this is like 2-3 years ago. Okay, and she's still giving him grief about it. So that's what a latke launch is. Isn't that fun? So, and you can get your friends to do it. It's like, it's so fun. And then that evening, you recall? That's right, we auctioned that once for a party. Twice. We do. You invite everyone, you get all your friends to buy tickets, just like they get you to buy the Girl Scout cookies and the magazine subscriptions. Exactly. All right, so we're gonna have that on the afternoon of December 18th, and then that evening, we're gonna have our annual Hanukkah party, like the first night of Hanukkah candles at the Stone House, because they're so kind. We have our huge Hanukkah menorah, Hanukkah, and they'll let us put it up there. We'll have a Hanukkah party at Stone House, which is always a lot of fun. We'll have some music. Benny will not be there, but Matt will be there. I suspect that Danny and/or Jason will be there, and we never know who's going to show up.
You never know.
I may ask Aya. Be fun.
Is that Sunday?
It's a Sunday, so Sunday afternoon, lots of lunch, and then that evening, a Hanukkah party at Stonehouse. I always want to say, please support Stonehouse wherever you can. They do a lot of things with us, they never charge us for anything. They're really wonderful. Is it? I believe. So that is, that's the announcements I have. Sherry, what do you, Orlando, did I miss anything?
Yes,
Hey, shh. Yes,
we have some friends from C Club.
Yes.
okay, we're gonna get there, we're not there yet.
Okay.
Come on. Come on,
Anything else?
tell us.
Wait, just.
Okay, you're gonna wait. One announcement I have is that Abby and Jeff got engaged.
Oh.
You
We're
said
really
it
gonna find out
on
today.
Facebook, but you didn't say it here.
Mazal tov for you?
This means time.
It's not true. Pressure not. Yeah.
But Mazal tov for you, like most smart men, you're bringing above your station. That's about it. That's fabulous. Other announcements, we have Mahjong on Thursdays.
We are playing mahjong and we are gonna start playing for money.
Whoa.
So,
That's where we're all.
we're gonna start playing for money. It's not big money,
Is this
but
on
we are
the- is this
gonna
on the
start.
ballot?
If you're a winner, you gotta hit the box on the way out.
Is that promo, please?
What?
Okay, so we're losing focus here. So we have Mahjong for money, lack of lunch, Miguel, and they're getting married, and we have people from Club Z. Which is an event that's gonna happen this Sunday at 4:30. What is going to happen and what is Club Z?
Hi, everyone.
Go back, like,
Hi, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. My name is Jen, and I'm the regional director for Club Z. We are a Zionist youth organization. We focus on empowering the next generation of Jewish teens to be strong and proud Jews. And Dr. Naya left in the back. I brought her here. Is going to be speaking on Sunday. This morning, we came from Emek Academy, the Jewish day school, and we met with the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders to talk about how to identify anti-Semitism, modern day anti-Semitism, and how to combat it and what should we do. And it was so sad that 6th graders, 7th graders, and 8th graders that, when I walked to shul on Saturdays, people asked me to take off my kippah so that they could see my horns. Our babies, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders are having these instances at a Jewish day school happen to them. And we wanted to partner with Ner Simcha to really elevate our community and teach our community how to stand up, fight back, be a proud Jew. So this Sunday at 4:30, Naya will be giving an engaging presentation. I've seen it many times and I learn something new every time about how your teens, your grandchildren, your cousins, nephews can learn how to be strong and proud Jews.
And it's not just for anyone, that's not just for people that are involved in temple. That's for anyone.
Yeah.
If you know a family that is a teenage Jew, get their butts down here, please.
Yeah.
I mean that in all seriousness. We really need to get to train our young people so they can deal with these issues. So if you know, certainly adults as well, but if you know any families that have children, teenage children,
I have flyers too in case you.
yeah, just come down. They can just come. I don't care what temple they're a member of. I don't care about anything. Just they're Jew and they're teenage. So
Horn thing still alive.
I think that's all of our announcements. We continue our prayer with Misha Bera. If there's someone who would like to pray for their healing, someone of their physical, their mental healing, rise as we call out their names. Father, I'm not helped by pray for the healing of Benny Lipson, Benjamin Valerie, we pray for the healing of all those affected with sickness or with acts of mankind, all those, especially the injured as first responders, defenders of this nation or of Israel, all those who have gotten hurt in any way, trying to help others, all those who have no one to pray for them, we pray for them. They receive complete healing of the neshama, the body and the spirit, as we continue with Mishabara. Mishabara avoteinu Korah bracha limoteinu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. And let us say, Amen. Mishabara imoteinu Korah bracha lavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, a renewal of body, a renewal of spirit. Let us say, That I blew it. Had I been thinking, I would not have been trying to sing any of this. I would have done Richard Burton and Richard Harris. James, or what's it, William Shatner. Mishabara, Avoteinu, Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov. I blew it.
Me?
Did you ever see Richard Burton and Richard Harris? Forgive us while we talk amongst ourselves. Did you get one? It was fabulous, both of them. And they couldn't sing a lick. Not a bit. But boy, was it. Come on. It was just beautiful. Forgive us another moment. I once saw Richard Harris do Camelot, and it was the opening of the Hasidic Amphitheater. When they did the first year they did musicals. You guys can listen to them if you like. And it was that scene. There was the Orange County Rock and Roll Fair going on across the freeway, and so it was really very distracting.
Rock and roll music.
So you did hear this. I did.
Violin.
So he's sitting. Harris is there and he's tapping his foot when Lancelot comes in, and Lancelot has a question. And Harris says, "That's fine, Lance, but tell me, what do you think of rock and roll?" Rock and roll, Your Majesty. Rock and roll. Young people play with their cars. Cars, man. Staring. Okay, I returned. Sorry. Elena, page 118. Elena is the prayer we take upon ourselves. But before we take upon ourselves what we studied, what we learned tonight. So here's the deal. Please only rise for Elena when you're willing to try, at least this next week, to do your own meditation or whatever way. It doesn't mean you need to sit on the ground and go, oh, but that you spend some time inside yourself, listening to yourself, for yourself, with yourself. Maybe it's wrapping tefillin, maybe it's just meditating, talking to God, listening to God. I think it was Yogi Vaishnava that said, prayers when we talk to the one, and meditation is when the one, we listen to the one, something like that. So when we're ready to take upon the commitment to be a little bit more reflective, I ask that you rise. בשמיים ויוסף ומשה דקרו בשמיים ימעל ושכינתו זו בגודל אלוהינו אבן כוחנו אפס ודתו תקדו את תורתו וידעת היום והשבותה אלוהים כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ימעל ועל הארץ to Torah, Adonai Lord, Hayya Adonai, Adonai Baruch Haaretz, Vayomadu, V'yei Adonai Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo. Please be seated. You keep looking like you can't believe my voice goes that low. That's my comfort zone. Especially right now. Kaddish on page 124. You know, we're not the only culture that does Kaddish one way or another. We just had a ceremony that was done this past week. Some ceremonies, rituals, holidays. Anyone know what holidays came up this past week? I know you two do. Who else? What happened October 31st? What holiday was it?
Oh,
What was it? Halloween. What was the day after? Do you know? I know you know, Jonathan. That's not going to make up for you going after the cookie. So-
Election Day in Israel?
What?
Election Day in
All
Israel?
Saints.
Everybody was on.
It's all Saints Day. And November 2nd, the other morning. All Souls Day. The idea is that on Halloween, this is their culture. Halloween, the gates are open, all month actually, and then on Halloween, they are there, the dead are there. On the first, their belief is that they on the saints, on the second, they feed the dead, different cultures, and feed the dead and place liquid to help the dead. It's just other cultures' versions of Kaddish. It's a time. Why do we say Kaddish? For the same reason someone feeds the dead. The idea is they bless us all the time from the other world. And so for these few moments, we bless them. Ever thought of Kaddish that way, did you? We bless them because they take care of us all the time.
so you're talking about feeding them with prayers.
We feed them with prayers. Yes, we don't do the food thing that is done on the Day of the Dead.
Because that gets kind of macabre there.
It depends, but so it's a very, it's about the energy giving to them. Kaddish is literally, it's in Hipa'el, it's Binyan Hipa'el. It's a type of grammar that's self-reflexive. The idea is, it literally says God has made God's self better, God has made God's self larger, God has made God's self more blessed. Because it's in Binyan Hipa'el, conjugation of language. The idea is, the people we remember made God more godly. And we are honoring that and taking the best of those qualities and walking them in the world. If there's someone you'd like to say Kaddish for, because it is your morning, or just because I ask that you please rise, that's when you call out the names.
My grandmother, Molly Nyder Weissman.
Barclay. Barclay. All those people who have died in service of God, all those people who died in service of the United States of Israel, all those people who died from violence, from acts of God and nature, we say prayers for them. May their memory be blessed. Right, there's someone, did you? No? Not for you? Pass the morning. We'll pass the morning for what it's from. If it's your custom to rise, I ask that you do so as we continue the Kaddish. Yikadal Yikadash, Merabah. Me'almati Brach, Yutei, Yamalik, Malchutei, Chayachon, Yomachon, Chayed, Beit Yisrael. Bagalav Yisman Karivim, Yehesh Me Rabba Baruch, Leolam Olamei Omayah. Yibarach Yishtabak, Arvi for Lam Yidnasei. Yidarvi to Levi to Lal, Shmir the Kiddushan. Le'elam in Kol Birchata, Bashir Ta, Tushmata. Tamirab Yamam, Amen. Yeshlam Arab Amin Shemaya, the Chayim Aleini. Yokol Yisrael, Amen. Osei Shalom, and Mavilah, say Shalom. Amen. Yokol Yisrael. Order its peace and enrichment, peace upon their souls, their families, their communities. Peace upon this community, on this nation, upon Israel, and peace God in our time. Peace in all the world, and together we say, Amen. So we'll do a little Adon Olam, just to see how low we can go. Adon Olam, master of the world, Adon Olam, the hidden master. Oh no, we got it's as many as I hear. We got to do the melody that Frida likes. L'terem kol yetzirah le'enasa le'esoto asai le'en shakol yirah ve'yachare yikot anto le'evado yikot Torah v'hu haya v'hu omer v'hu yiyeh v'zifara v'hu echad ve'chein the Hampshire, the Amira, the Reshit, the Tachlit, the Lohao, the Hamitzvah, the Huedi, the Haigodi, the Tzurchadli, the Yetzara, the Hunisi, the Manosli, the Nankosi, the Yomekah. Please rise, Be'ato, Ahirubi. Be'etisha, be'anira, be'ikuhi, be'irati, Adonai. Into my hands, to your hand, I trust my soul, O God, you are our God. We will not fear you. May God always bless and protect us all. You have love of it. Lift his countenance, be kind, gracious, and compassionate with all of us. You saw it in our Panolachov, Yisimlach Shalom. May God always bless all of us with good health, prosperity, love, and peace. So, good Shabbos!